What's up, everybody? We're in week 4 of Groups at Home. If you've missed the past few weeks or don't remember the story, we've been walking through Joseph's life. We see him walk through pain and trials over and over and over. He started by being sold into slavery by his brothers. He's then taken down into Egypt and brought into Potiphar's house. He's constantly tempted, and when he does the right thing, he's thrown into prison for it. He remains in prison for 12 years. All while remaining faithful to God. How does he do this? Why does he do this? Where do we go from there? From that point on, we begin to see Joseph flourish. We begin to see reconciliation and forgiveness happen as his brothers come back and he gets the opportunity to make amends with them. We have seen how pain and difficult circumstances have made the man. This week, we're going to look at how Joseph got here to the man that he is in Genesis 50, ruling over all of Egypt. But before he gets there, he has to allow himself to grieve. He has to feel the weight of his feelings. Joseph, at this point, is in second in command, only second to Pharaoh himself. And there's a big famine that breaks out. And his brothers come back down to Egypt. They don't know he's alive, but they come back down to Egypt to ask for resources, for provisions, and all of that. And Joseph is the one that gets to handle the situation. He sees his brothers, and he's speaking to them through an interpreter so he doesn't give away that it's actually him, because they don't know that it's him. And at one point in the story, he breaks down and begins to cry. I once had a professor tell me that if you circumvent the grief process, you run the chance of giving up on love. You have to first acknowledge that there's an issue to begin healing. You have to allow yourself to feel the pain, even though you know you might feel it again, but allowing yourself to feel it anyway and move forward with that. From there, Joseph is allowed to, he's able to express his feelings more openly and more freely with his brothers, and so he sets boundaries with them to ultimately bless them. They've come for provisions, but the last time that Joseph saw them, they tried to kill him. He doesn't know what type of people they are. He doesn't know the men that they become. So he keeps one of their brothers in prison to go get their father and bring them back and their brother, just to make sure that they'll do what they say. He sets boundaries so ultimately he can bless them. Lastly, he reveals his pain and also his heart for reconciliation. He shows them that actually, I'm Joseph, the brother you tried to kill. I'm actually alive. And he gives them an opportunity to make amends for what they did. He opens up and is vulnerable, and he gives them the opportunity to be vulnerable with him. And ultimately, they reconcile. He extends forgiveness, and the 12 brothers are reunited in Egypt. Jesus does not want us to forget about our pain. He was resurrected still bearing the scars of an unjust execution. He didn't forget about his pain. He doesn't want us to forget about ours, because that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is following after Jesus as he leads us with our nail-scarred hands. That's exactly what Joseph did. He didn't forget about the pain that his brothers put him through, the pain of being in prison, the pain of being sold into slavery. He allowed that to shape him and to mold him as he followed after God. This week in Groups, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about forgiveness, reconciliation, and how we can get to the same place that Joseph was and ultimately become unhindered.